again at the same time this Wednesday for like the bliss of knowledge in our Zipinar. So we are zipping two wonderful topics in one session for 1 hour every Wednesday. So thank you again for joining us via live Facebook and YouTube as well. So this is a platform where the company Cogent is initiating to give back to the community by creating an informed community. Again, we thank you for joining again, and we have wonderful topics today. The first one will be leadership challenges, military and corporate alike. This will be delivered by Colonel Rahul Tyagi, operations manager at Amazon. Well, he just started at like a few months or a year in Amazon, as he mentioned. Like he transitioned, so it's a great venture for him. And this topic will cover major leadership styles of military forces and draw a parallel with corporate environment and bring about anecdotal lessons that can be emulated by corporate leaders. And a short about Colonel Rahul. He is a retired from Indian Army with 21 years plus service. Thank you for the service, sir. During his service, he has served along the length and breadth of India, including active counter-insurgency operations. So that's 10 years in Jammu and Kashmir and 1 10 year in northern states of India. So I will not talk too much, and I'll let him introduce himself a little and discuss about the topic. Please take over, Colonel.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for such an elaborate introduction. For everyone who's joined the webinar, very, very warm welcome to all of you. And in about next 15-20 minutes or so, I'll talk about certain of the aspects which Phil has just spoken. I would share my screen from here on, and maybe everyone can see it. Let me just share my screen first. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, sir. We can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi guys. I'll be talking about the leadership challenges. Just to give a brief on that before I start. Everyone has a different perspective about leadership and the various styles, which whether it's in military or is in corporate. Everyone emulate or tries to master. With my experience, which Phil has already spoken, I have adequate experience in operations during live active battles, I must say, as well as in addition to that, certain training challenges and leading the men almost to the point where their life is endangered. And thereafter, now I have transitioned to Amazon, and I've seen a little bit of it so far, not completely so. It's been just about a couple of months now. However, certain aspects of both the places can be actually drawn into parallel, and maybe understanding kind of thing can come up when we speak about leadership challenges and styles in corporate world. The first and foremost question which always comes is the biggest debate, whether leaders are born or are they made. In other words, are they natural leaders or developed leaders? In my personal opinion, it's always a mix of both. We must understand that you may be born with good leadership leadership attributes or capabilities, but you may not get chance, or you may not be ready to showcase your leadership. And for that, you need to develop leadership skills. It's very, very important that you upskill yourself and align yourself with your team to lead them. Thus, it can't be said in a particular black or white manner whether a leader is born or he's made. What number of styles you would have heard in different places on Google, in your various organizations. these are some of the list which has been flashed on the screen. And with time, like when I joined the army, those times they were only autocratic and democratic kind of leadership styles. Now, with time and with the challenges, these styles are improving or getting refined. You never know, another 10 years down the line, we may have another few styles adding on to the list. So, what basically decides what kind of leadership we need to emulate or we need to do? From my personal experience, I have categorized it into three different parts. The first and foremost, and the most important, is the people which we are leading. And in that, what kind of skill sets they have. Like in military, you have different skill sets. In corporate or in an IT field or any other environment, you may have different skill set. Depending upon the skill set, the kind of leadership style we may have to choose. Again, the uptake level of the people whom you are leading, as well as their EQ and IQ, both the levels of both is very, very important. In addition to that, specific to military, the geography in which you are operating, that makes a lot of difference. During my period in the counterinsurgency in northeastern states of India, the way we used to function was entirely different. And the geography has a bearing on your rules of engagement, as well as connect with the local populace, or how you deal with the insurgents. Whereas when you are working in Jammu and Kashmir, you are operating there, it is entirely different. So both the geography plays a very big role, and this will also lead into the leadership style which you may have to emulate. Last but not the least, morale of the troops, how good or bad it is, or rather how high and low it is, makes a lot of difference on the leadership style. Clubbing it with customs and tradition, it is custom and tradition of the troops which are being leaded, or the team which you are leading. Say, for example, you have people from South India who are in your team. Like I had during my 21 years of experience, the way I used to function with them was entirely different. But when you have troops from the northern part of India or eastern part of India, you have to deal with them in a different manner. The way of communication challenges comes up on your face are entirely different in depending upon the customs and tradition. The second most important factor is the organization in which you are functioning. Military has a different way of leadership style. More so in certain cases, you may have to go for autocratic or transformational. Whereas in corporate world, it is entirely different. It may be more aligned towards democratic or laissez-faire. Either way, the organization has a very, very huge role in deciding which particular leadership style you may have to take on. And in that organization, the two portions, the culture and the environment of the organization, makes it entirely different. Last but not the least, this is my personal favorite, which I feel your own personality, how you have been brought up, how you have learned over a period of time, how your studies have been, the people who have influenced on you since the childhood and helping you in grow in organization, that plays a very huge role when you are deciding onto the leadership aspects. With this, if we see, all the three factors equally apply with almost the same weightage in both military and corporate. And this has been from personal experience. I may be wrong, but so far, this is how it has been. Understanding from that point of view, if we move ahead, let's see what are the challenges which we face in the military organization. These are few of them which I have listed. The list is not comprehensive. However, these are the major ones which you may feel are required. Uh, I may give certain stories about it, about all of them, but I would like to bring in few of these ones. The decision time in military is very, very critical, because it is depending upon the life or death of your men whom you are commanding or whom you are leading into a particular operation. There are high risk of failure, and in that you have to be skilled, and your knowledge base has to be always updated, including the intelligence part of it, because if you don't have that, you're bound to fail. There was one story which I would like to put forth here. This was very recent, and I was a commanding officer in Jammu and Kashmir on the line of control at that time. And there were one time, very famous incident, Balakot incident, which happened, and there were a lot of conflict between India and Pakistan, and the line of control became very volatile. And post that incident, during one of the retaliation, there was one of my posts which was pounded by 8 different posts of enemy. Unfortunately, during that time, it was very difficult to understand which enemy post is actually firing, and the decision time was very less. Within 3 to 4 minutes, my complete post would have been bombarded very badly, and I had to come up with certain different idea which we had not used so far, which was only theoretically available on books, and it has never been tested on ground. And that time, you don't have time to decide or think the pros and cons, and you have to go with your instinct. And that's what we did, and luckily was able to save my post as well as inflict heavy casualty on the adversary. However, this one incident actually speaks about the decision time which you had, the risk of failure of using a technology or a technique during operation which has never been tested on ground, and to apply that, having the basic knowledge or keeping yourself updated all the time was important. Another aspect on a human front I would like to talk about, which is more so related with communication aspect and interpersonal connect with the team. Uh, I was very young captain when you're young, you're full of josh and high spirits. And during that time, you used to make a lot of speeches to your boys during get together, and try to keep motivating them and bringing the kill spirit in them. And one of the incident which comes out is, there was one sergeant who walked up to me in the evening one day, and he said, Saab, that's how they address you. They call you Saab, which is sir. He said that, Saab, I have been listening to you and I've been motivated a lot from you. I have a request to make. And I thought it would be related to something operational, or something related with his career progression or something like that. And he said that he had a personal grievance against someone, and he wants to take a vendetta against this person, and he wanted my help, official help in that. Why I'm telling this story is, we must understand as a leader what we speak and how it is perceived by the people which are listening to it. And thus, clear and concise communication is a very, very important aspect which any leader should not falter upon. If we understand that, the other portions of dealing with conflict, interpersonal connect, change management, frequent deployments from a non-operational area to an operational area all over the globe, it's one of the biggest challenge for military leaders. Motivation, need not to say you have to be motivated yourself at all the time. Even if you're tired, if you are fatigued, you can't show it in front of your boys, because it is really difficult. They are looking up to you at all given times. You are living in a glass house where anything and everything can be seen, and the boys try to emulate you because you are their leader invariably. Here, I would also like to say one more thing. You need not to be a leader because you have that appointment. You can be a leader amongst the peers as well, when especially in military it happens, when there is a tough time, when there is a tough call and probably the leader is not present, or even if he is there, he's frozen, and it happens, it does happen. That time, someone who's very uh, docile or otherwise not participating much, he can emerge as a leader, and that depends upon the situation as well. Thus, we can add situation also into one of the challenges in the military world. Last but not the least, it's alone at the top. You can't discuss certain aspects. You have to keep information in pockets, and it is difficult to convey each and everything to the boys. And it is a challenge to filter how much amount of information should go down and how much should stay with you. And at the same time, the onus of the onus of success or failure lies with the leader, and that's where most of the leaders falter, and there is a decision deficit where we do lose lives. Understanding from these challenges, let's talk about what are the challenges in the corporate. If we see all the list which I had flashed earlier, we may find that all these factors or challenges are there in corporate also. The difference which I feel is in the degree of each of them. Certain places in military, the decision time, uh, like you have to make decision in a particular time, whereas in corporate, you may take certain time. There are things or majority of the decisions in corporate can be undone if the decision has gone wrong, whereas in military it may not so happen because you may lose a life. So the degree of the challenge may reduce in corporate. At the same time, degree of skills and knowledge base has to be very high in corporate, depending upon the task in which or the role in which you are, depending upon what goals you are seeking. Again, communication is equally important in both military as well as in corporate. In military, the communication can be very crisp and short because you have been training with those boys for a longish period, whereas in corporate, it may have to be little elaborate. Fitness, obvious to say, it's much more required in military, but in corporate as well, sometimes you may have to work long hours. Sometimes fitness is not always mental or not always physical, I'm sorry, but it is mental fitness as well, or mental agility, which we can call. And that's why I feel all the challenges which we see in corporate are also almost the same which are there in military. I do have more experience of military, so I'm talking more about it. However, at the same time, whatever I've seen so far and interacted with the people or the leadership here, these are the major challenges which they are also facing. Thus, to reply to this question, fundamentally, both are same. It's only the degree at which they differ. If we understand this much, let's talk about what should be a roadmap for a leader in corporate who has transitioned from military, or anyone who is just starting his journey in corporate. I personally feel one must be who he is, your natural self. If you try to pose someone else, you'll never be a successful leader. You may see a lot of people, you may get motivated or influenced by a lot of leaders. You may have certain mentors whom you are following. At the same time, the success or failure of a decision lies upon you, and thus it's always advisable to be your natural self. One must be conscious about his own capabilities. There are certain aspects which you may know, certain aspects which you may not know, or certain thing you may have to upskill yourself. it is very important that you are aware of your capability and you don't chew more than what you can digest. You have to think big, undoubtedly, whether it is military or corporate. And the long-term goals have always to be kept in your eyesight. You have to see through a prism and see far off. Small setbacks or small things should not hamper the overall team goals. And thus, you should keep the goals in your focus and keep moving ahead. You are bound to fail. You are bound to have setbacks. What is important as a leader is how you yourself bounce back and how you bring your team up. For that, you need to have certain principles. You can't falter on those principles, and you have to keep a benchmark for yourself as well as for your team. And most importantly, you have to build your own character. Everyone has its own style, and everyone believes in a particular manner. He or she functions the best during difficult times. Think of those times when you have performed the best in your life. You would have realized 90% of time when you have performed the best in your life are the times when actually you were yourself and you were in your own character rather than being someone else. And I think if we keep these things in mind and upskill ourselves as per the latest what's there in the market, definitely you will be a huge success. Last but not the least, as I said, make your own style. You have to be who you are, and in that, choose one of the leadership style. You have the capability within yourself and develop it further to the level depending upon your team and how and where you want to lead them. Thank you so much, Phil. I think I've eaten almost the time. Any questions anyone have, I would be happy to take on. I'm stopping the share now.
Hi, yeah, sorry about that. It's some technical glitch, but yeah, thank you so much for that wonderful and insightful talk. Now we are open for a question and answer section. You can post it on a Q&A or on the chat, or you can just unmute or raise your hand. So we have a few minutes still to do the Q&A. And Colonel, while we are waiting for someone to ask question or interact with you, um, for those who would like to reach out to you offline or on their available time, how would they reach you?
They can reach me on LinkedIn, as well as they can reach me on my email. I'll just put the email in the chat so that everyone can take it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's my mail ID.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. So no one sharing their insights. I guess
Yeah,
that's a perfect talk.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Rahul,
yeah, we have
thank,
Srini.
yeah, Rahul, thank you so much for your time and methodical presentation. So my quick question is like, what is the new leadership style based on all the things that you learned and experienced? What is that something that you want to explore as a new leadership style, if at all you were to innovate?
So far, one of the leadership style which I have not been able to emulate because of certain reasons of the army hierarchy, and which is also the latest one, and it is making a buzz nowadays, is a servant leader. It's the main, or in a nutshell, it is basically thinking about your team first and thereafter doing things to make their life comfortable. Invariably in army, we were not looking at the comfortability of the people, but we were looking at overall morale and keeping them in high josh. But however, in corporate so far, whatever I've learned, the servant leader is one of the best models which is presently functioning, at least in Amazon, which I've seen, as well as it is overall in both waterfall model or agile, both the places it is always professed by a lot of people who are already there in corporate for a long period.
Yeah, definitely agree. That's a great leadership style. And in fact, one of our, one of the, senior leaders in the forum, Hari, who is also here now, he also believes in the same, and he introduced that to me like a few years ago. That concept of servant leadership. Good. Yeah. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shini.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, so that's just about time. So wow, perfect timing. Thank you so much, Colonel. Now, so we can move on to the next topic for today. But then again, if you wish to get in touch with Colonel Rahul, the email is on the chat. Send him an email or go to his LinkedIn. You can message him there. He's very approachable and replies um, as much as he is available. Well, thank you. And now the next topic for today is multi-potentialite mindset. So if anyone is wondering what this is, I am wondering too. So let's unravel this with a great speaker, which is Siricha Dili. She is a trainer, a teacher, and a mother, and is an educational and psychological term referring to the ability of a person, particularly one of intellectual or artistic curiosity, to excel into or more fields. And that's what potentiality means. So, Shirisha has completed master's in mass communication and English with a diverse work experience. She has worked with U.S. healthcare back office operations team and has worked with editorial team as a production editor, so that digital products on English language teaching. So not so much about her. Here to deliver the topic for us, Sirisha Dili.
Thank you, Phil, for the introduction. It was quite comprehensive. So here I am today to present about multi-potentialite mindset. Okay. So before we delve into the topic, I would like to ask you a few questions that will create a background about what multi-potentialite mindset is. Okay, generally, we keep asking few people and we keep giving remarks saying that you are jack of all trades and master of none. Why don't you stick to a job? Why do you keep switching on jobs every now and then? Why don't you choose one thing? Why is that you don't focus on one thing? If you don't focus on one set thing, you will end up being unsuccessful. Okay, so this is the background information about a multi-potentialite. So multi-potentialites have diversified background. They come from different backgrounds and they are very inquisitive. They are very curious about different fields and different areas of knowledge. They don't stick to one thing all the time. The job, once they are done with the learning how to get a job done easily, then after that they keep looking for something else where they can learn many things day in and day out. So who is a multi-potentialite? How do we understand a person with lot of creative pursuits, and they are always exploring new things. They are bent upon learning new things, and they easily get bored when we give them a single task. So once they get to know how the task needs to be done, then they switch on to another thing, and they're constantly looking at honing their skills. At the same time, learning new skills. They are innovators and problem solvers. The reason why they are great innovators and problem solvers is because they have a creative bent of mind. So whatever task they take up, or whatever accomplishments that they have done in their life, is all because of the creative pursuits. They are always creative. So whatever they do, every tiny and minute task that they do, they try to do it creatively. So when you think out of the box and when you think creatively, the results are exceptional. So they have this insatiable curiosity in them. They are always curious about different things. They have a lot of questions running around in their mind. Why is this happening this way? Why doesn't this happen this way? And they want to learn different things. They try to get hands-on experience and hands-on learning on different aspects of life. And they are very adaptable. The reason why they are adaptable is because they keep switching when it comes to their interests and pursuits. They try to learn things from the scratch. So when you keep learning all the time, okay, you quickly adapt yourself. You not only learn things quickly, at the same time you adapt things quickly. And it is generally told that they have no one true calling. So they keep you know thinking about different things, and they keep switching different their interests differently. So how do we identify a multi-potentialite? The first thing, before we identify a multi-potentialite, we need to understand that it is not a problem or with them, or it is not the wiring that is there in their brain. Multi-potentialite is somebody who is different. They are not worse. At the same time, they are not great, but they are different. They are like any other human being, but they have different abilities. They have different interests. So how do we identify them? They are curious. Um, they are curious about everything. They want to learn many things. Um, this minute they are reading about astrophysics. They want to know the recent developments in astrophysics. The next minute they want to try a new recipe. They would like to go and cook. They would like to paint. So their interests are diversified and are different. And they don't stick to one job. Every 2 to 3 years they keep switching their jobs, because the job that they are doing right now, they feel that it is really boring, because there is it is not that it is very tough to them. It is a tough nut for them to crack, but they feel that it is too easy for them. When things get really easy, multi-potentialites, they keep switching their jobs. So they always try to expand their horizons of knowledge. They accumulate and assimilate knowledge. They not only do that, but what do they do is, because they have knowledge of different fields and different subjects, they come up with different ideas, which is a blend of two subjects put together. So when such ideas are implemented, you tend to see great results. So when you see such things where they keep trying out different things, they can take on different responsibilities, new responsibilities in an organization. So such people are multi-potentialites. So they are never happy with monotonous things that they do. So identifying that you are a multi-potentialite is a superpower. So and also understanding what are the challenges that go together with being a multi-potentialite is also very important. So that we are not left behind in today's society, where specialists are always rewarded. The world today wants specialists in whatever field they choose. They always want a person who is into a particular field or domain for many years. They don't want somebody who wants to try it out for the first time, or try it out something new. So that's why multi-potentialites are different, and they are not rewarded by the society. Not only rewarded, they are not even recognized, because it is something new. For the first time, most of us understood that there is a new term called multi-potentialite that was given by Emily Wapnick in her book, that is How to Be Everything. So what if we don't have one true calling? So how do we choose which career path that we have to pave? So when you have too many options, okay, and when you are not a specialist, okay, you are a journalist, okay, so you can be you want to take up something that interests you right now and you want to learn. So that's why you have to understand that you're different. You're not alone. There are many people like you. There is nothing wrong with you. You have to accept who you are, and you have to discover. The saddest part is most of us won't even realize or won't even discover that till their mid 30s, like that they are multi-potentialites. So because the society doesn't reward or doesn't recognize them, they might be wondering that if I'm not good at anything, what will I make out of life? Is something wrong with me? So such questions keep popping up in their mind. So they easily get demotivated because there is not much recognition or motivation. But once we discover that multi-potentiality is a superpower, okay, it gives a lot of boosting. And what happens when we understand that we are multi-potentialite? What do we do is we come up with different types of problem solving methodologies that can have a great impact on business or the organization that you're working for. And you learn things really quick. Why is that you learn things quickly? Is because you keep switching jobs, you keep delving into different fields of knowledge. So you try to blend that knowledge, you try to join those dots and come up with new ideas and new solutions. Okay, so they are also adaptable. This is what makes them a quick learner, because when you take up a new something that you're pursuing for the first time, or something that you're pursuing very new, you have to learn it from the scratch. So when you learn something from the scratch, that will give you a lot of opportunity to expand your horizons of knowledge. At the same time, you also become adaptable. So any change or any new update that is brought into your team or your process, you can adapt yourself easily and you can come up with great results. So in a gist, who is a multi-potentialite? A multi-potentialite is somebody who is really curious about many things. They want to pursue a lot of things. They are versatile. Why they are versatile is because of their diversified background from which they come from, diversified experience that they gain, at the same time diversified knowledge that they assimilate and accumulate. They're very adaptable because they keep switching their roles. They are ready to take on new challenges and new roles. They are different because they don't specialize in one aspect, rather they specialize in different aspects. They are eternal learners. They keep learning every day, and if there is no learning, they get bored and they look for some other place. They hop onto some other place that could give them an opportunity to learn. So as I've already told you, multi-potentialites do not quit when something becomes too hard. They easily quit when something becomes really easy for them. So they want new challenges every day. They want new learning every day. So as I've already told you that multipotentiality is a superpower, what are the different abilities that a person has, or a person develops being a multipotentialite? Is they have a lot of ideas bubbling in their mind, because they connect dots, different subjects. They try to put it together. They pick up maybe one solution from here, another solution from another place, because They have a lot of knowledge on different topics, and they come up with a unique solution, unique and creative solution that could be really helpful during a crisis. They have hands-on experience in different domains. At the same time, they are really good at learning new languages. So when you learn new languages and when you learn new things, you tend to look at the bigger picture, and you tend to think out of the box. So when there is a place where you're stuck, you're unable to get a solution. So when you think out of the box, or when you think creatively, you can always get a solution. They acquire skills rapidly because they have the constant thirst for learning. They keep looking for expanding their horizons of knowledge, and whatever they do, they try to add creativity to it. And because of that, they not only keep themselves engaged, they also try to make the experience worthwhile for them and also for others. Now, this is something that we have to deeply understand, because multipotentiality is a superpower. At the same time, it also comes with a lot of challenges. What are the challenges? The first challenge that a multipotentialite faces: indecisiveness. Why? Because of so many areas of interest. They are talented. They are too very talented. Their areas of talent are their talent. They are talented in many areas, so they don't know which path to choose or where to make a career. So they become indecisive. So they seek clarity most of the time, and people might look at them, and they might always leave a bad remark on them, saying that this person doesn't have clarity on things, always indecisive, thinks a lot in taking decisions. So this is an area where they have to work. And while working on this, they have to remember that though their pursuits of interest are many, they have to take up one task at a go. They cannot do multitasking. When they get into multitasking, they lack focus. It is not that they cannot focus on one thing at a time. Here, lack of focus means when they have too many things in their mind, it hits their productivity, their levels of productivity. So multi-potentialates, they are always engrossed into the thing that they are doing. They have high levels of focus, but because they also think about other things, it might affect their productivity. So they need to understand how to do one thing at a time, instead of concentrating, or instead of trying to do 10 things at a time. Okay, if they do one thing at a go, and give their full put their full efforts, concentration and focus on one thing, they can always try to overcome this challenge. They also lack confidence. Why do they lack confidence? Because each time they are taking up something new, or they are taking on new role, it is like they are starting something from the scratch. They need some help all the time. They seek for help. So that might hit their confidence levels. Their confidence levels might dip down. And at the same time, they are always demotivated because they are different. They are not like others. They are not specialized in one area, but they are specialized in many areas. So the society doesn't reward people who are differently, who have different capabilities. The society always expects people to follow norms, but multipotentialites do not follow norms. They follow their desires. Wherever their desire takes them, they go. Wherever there is an opportunity for them to learn, they go there. So how to thrive as a multipotentialite? Now that we understood superpowers of being a multipotentialite and also the challenges, we not only have to overcome our challenges, but we need to thrive as a multipotentialite. Having a superpower knowing that it is a superpower won't help, but you have to thrive in whatever you do. So how do we do it? First, identify that you are a multi-potentialite. Know that there is nothing wrong with you. You are like any other person, but you are different. You are no worse, you are no better. So when you think of this phrase all the time, you always know that your confidence levels are always up to the mark. If you feel that I'm somebody, I'm not a specialist, I'm not like the third person, then your confidence levels always, they fall, and you need to keep working on your confidence levels. So understand and accept that you are a multi-potentialite. Knowing that it is a superpower, you should also overcome those challenges. Overcoming those challenges could be another big challenge, right? So how do we do that? When we have to be part of multi-potentialite communities and network where you can try to interact with those people, and how they are working on their challenges, what is that they are doing to keep their confidence levels up, their confidence meter, and how is that they are overcoming different problems like lack of focus, having too many talents at a go, how to be more decisive instead of being indecisive. So there is one quick solution that I got to see the other day. I read it in one of the articles where a multi-potentialite could be an entrepreneur. Instead of switching jobs every now and then, it creates a huge impact, because maybe at home he or she might be questioned. So if that person decides to be an entrepreneur, that gives them equal amount of time to pursue their other interests as well. So that is how they can balance. So when they become part of such networks, they'll have some help and some ideas how to overcome their challenges and how to balance their life, balance their career being a multi-potential. So what are the different areas where a multi-potentialite can pave their career? A multi-potentialite can be a copywriter. To be a copywriter, you need to have writing skills for sure, but copywriting gives them an opportunity to understand different aspects. So every day is a new challenge. They get to learn new things because they work on different areas. They don't stick to one area all the time. The second job that they can take up is marketing specialist. May it be traditional marketing or social media marketing. They have to learn every day, and there are a lot of books available in the market. You have a lot of online courses, tons of online courses, may it be for copywriting or marketing specialists, so they can update their knowledge. So the learning gap is always filled. They can always work on their thirst for knowledge. At the same time, they can also work on different products and also projects that will give them creative satisfaction. Designer. So they can be a product designer. They can be different kinds of, they can take up different kinds of designing projects where their creativity is always tested. And they can be translators too. When as I've told you earlier, that multi-potentialites have different cognitive abilities. They are good at picking up languages, and they come up with different types of solutions. So when they translate something from one language to another, it gives them a lot of scope to work on different areas. For example, one day they can work on restaurant menu description. The other day they can work on museum artifacts. So there is a huge scope for them to work on different things, where they can translate. At the same time, they can learn different things day in and day out. Ghostwriter is another job that they can always take up. They can express themselves really well, but however, they do not have the opportunity to to be acknowledged for the work they do. But ghostwriting gives them an opportunity to express their ideas in a creative way that shows their best self. Next is photographer and videographer. So there are different kinds of areas where they can work: lifestyle, fashion, food, etc., etc. Next is blogging. So when it comes to blogging, it needs a lot of time and effort. But if you have inclination towards blogging, it can be something that you can take up as a multi-potentialite. Teaching, last but not the least, the job that a multi-potentialite can take up is teaching, because teaching requires constant updation. Every now and then the publications are changed, and you need to refer new books. You need to also constantly learn new technology. So during pandemic, most of the teachers they got onto Zoom and different types of online platform. They learned many things. They are really quick learners, most of the teachers. But you, as a teacher, you can thrive when you're given a free hand. But in most of the institutions, teachers are always expected to follow those rules and regulations of and norms of a particular organization. But teaching is such a place where you can constantly learn, and you can see the fruits of your teaching when your students come out with flying colors. The way you transform young lives is really exceptional. So the challenge for organizations to manage multi-potentialites is that you have to put them into different roles. Simultaneously, you have to give them multiple duties so that they would be engaged and they will be sustainable. Sustainability is a huge problem with multi-potentialites. So when you keep switching, when you keep giving them different duties, roles, and responsibilities, they are much engaged into the work they do. And this is not a big challenge because of advancement in technology and constant updation that keeps happening. So they can organizations, when they think this way, they can try to make most of the multi-potentialites, which will have a great impact on the growth and also on the team members, because they learn how to think differently when they look at multi-potentialites thinking pattern. So according to Wapnick, I would like to read it out because it is really interesting what she has to say. A multi-potentialite, according to her, should embrace their passions. Embrace your many passions. Follow your curiosity down those rabbit holes. Explore your intersections. Embracing our inner wiring leads to happier, more authentic life, and perhaps more importantly, multi-potentialites the world needs us. May I repeat it again? Multi-potentialites, the world needs you. The world today needs a lot of multi-potentialites, and not only that person who is a multi-potentialite should know how to channelize his abilities. At the same time, organizations also should try to design a role where they can try to exploit different abilities of the multi-potentialite. Thank you so much. Now I'm ready to take questions.
Thank you so much, Sirisha. That's really insightful. Well, potentialite is definitely best suited for leaders of companies and startups, maybe because they're always huge, like curious and going through stuff. So instead of like going to 9 to 5, they go on doing their own business and creating strategies. So okay, that's a wonderful topic. Now we're open for questions. So from Satya, wow, never knew such a thing. So far, I had different perception. Now it's a superpower. Yes, I agree, Satya. Perfect. So who would like to interact, ask questions? Just raise your hand. put it in the Q&A or through chat.
Yeah, Sirisha, that is very insightful and very interesting to look at that perspective. So did you encounter any practical experiences of the real people? For example, Elon Musk, do you call him as a,
You're absolutely right. Elon Musk is a multi-potentialite, and Galileo is a multi-potentialite. Leonardo da Vinci is a multi-potentialite. I think Albert Einstein is also a multi-potentialite. I've not read it anywhere, but I can relate to it because if he would have not been a scientist or physicist, he would have been a musician. So his areas of interest are also different, but he ended up being a scientist.
So yeah, when you're classifying the people, maybe I missed this part. If this particular, one is one category, what are the other categories?
I didn't get you. Other categories, please?
Yeah, I know. What I meant is, so if multi-potentiality is one category of the mindset, right? Yes. So what are the other categories of the mindsets?
Other categories here,
if you're classifying.
Yes. Multi-potentialites are into different things. The other categories are specialists. So multi-potentialites, you can call them as journalists. So they look for, they try to learn different things. But
okay.
Others are specialists. They only specialized in one area, one field or one domain.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so it's kind of some solo areas. Okay. And did you encounter any real life people that you worked with, in multi-potentialites, and then any examples without the confidentiality, without revealing any confidentiality? Did you encounter any experiences?
Yeah, sure. I myself am a multi-potentialite because I worked with US healthcare. Then I worked as a trainer during pandemic. I worked as a teacher, high school teacher. So when I get into these huge buildings, after 6 to 7 months, I feel like, what am I doing? Where am I? So I'm more close to nature. So I constantly look for new learning. So whenever there is nothing to work at my office, so I try to switch on to Skillshare or different places where I can learn new things, understand new things.
No, interesting. Yeah. And yes, like I think also you mentioned about the challenges that they face and all. Yeah, that's seems very practical actually. So what is a support that is there any forum or is there any supporting forum or anything that can help potential people?
Yeah, there are few networks. They could be a part of those networks. There are different websites where there's a lot of information being given there that is creating a lot of awareness about what multi-potentiality is all about. And there is this writing platform called Medium. So there are many articles that are being published, and people are appreciating it and are getting to know. Most of them, they won't even discover that they are multi-potentialites until they bump into such kind of articles, because they keep believing in what society has to tell them. You don't fit into one place, because these multi-potentialites are a kind of rebels. They don't fit in a box. You cannot box them. So they keep changing their roles here and there. So the main challenge, as you have told, is that they have to channelize their potential, knowing that it is a superpower. They should also work on their challenges. So if they don't overcome those challenges, they'll end up doing nothing. So they should try to properly channelize their abilities. That is really important.
So now I'll ask a funny question. So if they're lost in, or if they practice, deep meditation and a lot of, they explore a lot of additional energies for them and focus, concentration, and everything. Will they still be like the multi-potentialites, or will they transform into specialists? That's okay.
No,
You don't
their
need.
innate nature won't change. It would be the same. They'll, after meditation, they'll come back to the normal, this thing.
Yeah, sure. Very interesting, topic actually. Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
I think I'm done with my questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Srini. And there is one thing here from uh, Satya, I believe, still. And he says here, so any reference to deep dive further? Are all generalists multi-potentialites, or is it other way around?
No, you cannot label them, but multi-potentialites are mostly generalists because they can take on any role. They are ready to learn from the scratch. They are not specialists in one field. They wish to get specialization in different fields. As I've told you at the beginning of the session, they can be reading about astrophysics right now, but immediately the next minute they'll change their mind. They would like to paint, or they would like to cook, or they would like to sing a song, because they have those inherent talents. The reason why they are indecisive, they're confused, is because they have a lot of talents. So they have to clearly understand which talent they need to utilize to make it a career, and which talents can be something that could be pursued during their free time, or during their pastime. So that is what they have to understand.
And one more thing, Satya is asking if you have any like good book references about this topic to deep dive, especially how to identify multi-potentialites.
Yes, How to Be Everything is the book, where it is a kind of guide for multi-potentialites. So how do we channelize our potential, and how to work on it and make a career out of it. It's by Emily Wapnick.
Okay, and yeah, he said thank you. And next is, as a parent, how should one groom them, and when do we identify them, and what age and conclude they are multi-potentialite?
Whenever we are aware of it, whenever we can identify ourselves that we are multi-potentialites, and the minute we start accepting that we are multi-potentialite, that is when we can channelize our potential in a right way. So there is no particular age, but because at this age I got awareness about multipotentiality, maybe I'll try to tell my kids about it. So when we were kids, this concept was not there. This idea itself was not there. Slowly these days we are getting to know, because there are many articles being published on the web about multipotentiality. So it could be something that started within you as a child, but until you understand or discover it, the day when you discover it, that is when you try to work on it, and you start using the superpower.
Wonderful. And we have here from Racha, is women multi-talented?
Yes, of course they are. They they are multi-talented. Yes, they are, because every mother is a leader. They not only train their kids, but also she leads the family, and she leads in such a way that she inspires her kids and makes her independent. So an independent woman doesn't have to tell her children. She herself is an example for her kids. Hope that question is answered.
Okay, I believe so. That question is answered. Thank you so much for that. And okay, so for those who would like to contact offline or at your own available time, Sirisha is available on LinkedIn, and if you wish to get her WhatsApp, just reach out to Let Us Talk It team for to coordinate with us and getting her contact in case you wish to work with her. And do you have like works you wanted to promote, Sirisha?
No, there is nothing that I would like to promote here. It was a great opportunity speaking on the topic because I always believe in knowledge transfer. So whatever I learn, if we try to convey to others, it is like reiterating ourselves. So it was a great experience being on the panel today.
And it is also a pleasure having you as one of our speakers today. And we have learned another thing regarding mindsets and how it works, definitely. And thank you, everyone, for joining and involving your time. And for the speakers, we appreciate your valuable time and your knowledge and your energy to this platform, joining as guest speakers, sharing your knowledge into creating an informed community. And also for those who are watching live right now via Facebook and also YouTube, if you enjoy this kind of sessions and topics, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more of this. And also, you can join us through Zoom. This happens every Wednesday. So see you again next Wednesday, the same time. That's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. That's US Eastern Standard Time, and then that's 9:30 to 10:30 India time. All right. So perfect. So for now, we can conclude the day, and we say goodbye. But we wish to see you again for the next wonderful topics next week. So thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.